I would be remiss if we don't kick things off with what's happening in Greece right now. Looks like Syriza is going to take it. Whether or not they're going to take majority, they're 1 or 2 seats away from that. What is the fallout going to look like?
Good morning, Angie. I guess the decision framework is quite simple in this case. There are a lot of complicated things in the Greek bailout scenario, the debt and the austerity situation. But Syriza is extreme left. They were expected to win, they won. Things can only get better from here in the sense of they might move more to the center as they form the government, as they come into power and start negotiations. So that's the framework with which we would look at the Greek bond situation. Now, Greek 3-year government bonds are already trading at 16% yield. They might go down in the next few days. There could be fluctuations over the next few months. But in terms of the overarching framework for the next 2 years, I would expect it to get better from here. And in effect, of course, you don't have to buy Greek bonds directly. I have exposure indirectly through Greek banks, which own bonds of the Greek government, and they're trading at half of book value. So maybe that's another way to look at the market.
All right, you're also short the euro, and of course, ECB Mario Draghi came out with much bigger than expected stimulus. How low do you think the euro is going to go?
The euro could go to parity. So we've been short the euro through a long-dated put for about 10 months now. So it was like a one-year view. We were expecting that QE would kick in anytime. We were not able to time when it would happen. Of course, the ECB has timed the QE to start just before the elections. I think the Syriza win was kind of expected by the markets. We could see the leading polls indicating this result. So we would look at euro continuing to fall further. The QE has just started, and we have another 12 plus 8, a lot of 19 months to go. So we have a lot more easing for euro to go down, and that will help the weaker economies like Spain, Ireland, and Portugal and Greece to recover. So it's definitely a big boost for these economies.
All right. How about here in Asia? What are the key themes you think is going to move markets here?
I think the key theme is Asia is still growing, so oil coming down is a big boost for these economies. At the same time, the governments of India and Indonesia have chosen to cut subsidies for fuel. It's, of course, not a long-term sustainable position, so therefore they cut subsidies. And this is a good position for these governments to continue with reforms. We have seen India, petrol and diesel have both been completely deregulated. Indonesia is moving in that direction. So these are good for the sovereign bonds of these countries. Of course, in the immediate impact is that demand will come down a bit. The markets will readjust. The domestic markets will readjust. But over a couple of quarters and over a course of a year, the demand will come back in Asia. So that's kind of the key thing to watch out for.
And how much of a lift do you think Obama's visit in India is going to have on markets, if at all?
No immediate impact. I think India and US are integrated in different ways. There's a lot of other sectors of the economy where they work together. A lot of India's business with the US is actually in sectors where the government is not playing an active regulatory part. It's in healthcare, where Indian generic pharmaceutical companies are world players. Indian information technology companies are, again, they earn about 60 to 70% of their revenues from the US. But these are all happening on their own, without government intervention or without any special programs. So that will continue along its regular pathways.